for more than 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns in 4 different games. Colorado must stop him. And a short time ago, Buffalo coach Rick Neuheisel inside the locker room.
We've come a long way. It's time now we play some ball, all right? We say Merry Christmas with our headgears. Merry Christmas with our headgears. Focus. 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 Know what you got to get done. Urgency. Got to have urgency. And then you get after their tails, all right? You get after their tails. Let's send a Christmas present to our seniors with a great win today. Get yourself ready to go.
So coming up, it is the Chief Aloha Bowl from Honolulu, Colorado versus Oregon. You are looking live at Aloha Stadium on Christmas Day in Honolulu, Hawaii. Slight drizzle earlier today, but starting to clear off now, and the weather should be ideal for our game matching Colorado against Oregon. Merry Christmas, everybody. With Dan Fouts and Jack Arute, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. This is a historic day as far as college football is concerned, because it's the first time ever that they have played a bowl doubleheader in the same stadium. After we finish, then it'll be time for the Air Force Academy against Washington. You can watch that game on ESPN. But let's start now with Oregon against Colorado. We've got a great matchup as we bring in my colleague Dan Fouts. Dan, we've got Akili Smith matched against some great defensive corners for Colorado, but Oregon's not 100% physically for this game.
Well, Tony Hartley, the fine wide receiver, was suspended. He's back on the mainland. The Ducks will miss his 10 touchdown catches, but it won't change the Oregon philosophy of getting the ball down the field. They average 17 yards per catch on the season. They're loaded at wide receiver, and they know they'll get press coverage from the Colorado secondary. Now, Colorado on offense has got to rely on the running of senior tailback Marlon Barnes. He missed 6 games this year because of injury, but he's healthy now, and he wants to go out in his final game at the Buffalo with a bang.
Well, a couple of holidays ago, these same 2 schools played in the Cotton Bowl. That game was won by Colorado. Oregon wants revenge. It's coming up.
The color of trust. One of the colors between the colors, created by Canon. Canon Laser Color. Its only competition is reality.
People often ask, what's the real Bill Shatner like? I tell them, find out with Web TV. You can watch one of my many shows and be on the internet at the same time. Looking up websites about Shatner, the author, Willie the Cowboy, and yes, Bill the rock star. Of course, you could look up other websites and watch other shows. But why?
Web TV service, the internet, television, and more.
A tradition at the Aloha Bowl. Santa delivers the game ball. And Jack Arute is down below with Mike Bellotti. Jack?
Coach, at the beginning of the year, Akili Smith was a question mark. It wasn't really certain whether he would be your starter full-time. What turned the corner for you?
Well, I think what turned the corner for me and him both was just, one, his competition with Jason Moss. Jason Moss made him a better quarterback. 2, probably at the El Paso game, and we stuck with him in the second half. He came back and won the game in the fourth quarter for us. I thought about taking him out twice, kept him in there. Something just told me, go with him, and I think that was a big turning point for both of us.
Brent, ask anybody, and they say that Akili Smith is the best quarterback ever at Oregon.
Oh, nice throwback.
On Christmas, no less.
Hey, oh. Well, obviously, Dan, there are no fights scheduled on Christmas Day. Look who's here working on his tan, Michael Buffer.
Aloha, mele kalikimaka. Welcome to paradise. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. This fabulous field is ready. The players are ready. For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Next year, who knows? Mills Lane.
Let's get it on.
He's ready to get it on, folks. Let's say Merry Christmas with our headgear. holiday for the coaches and many of the players on these two staffs. There's a little lingering hostility between these two. Dan, you might fill us in on what happened at that Cotton Bowl that I alluded to a couple years ago.
Well, with time running out in the Cotton Bowl, 32-6 was the score, and the Buffaloes faked the punt, converted on it, scored on the next play, and added 6 more points. And although not many players on this Oregon team or the Colorado team remember that game, they weren't even here, the coaches were. And, of course, Mike Pilati and Rick Neuheisel were in their first years as head coaches, and Neuheisel sent a message. That message may be answered today by Pilati.
Oregon will kick it off, and there is the dangerous one. Number 1, Ben Kelly, already as a sophomore, the all-time leader in kickoff return yards for the Buffaloes. Dan Katz with the ball on the tee. Here's Kelly's first return from the 7-yard line. Alley on the left in a big-time return. Look out. He's loose at midfield. Kelly down the sideline, takes it all the way for a touchdown. 93 yards. That is 7 yards short of an Aloha Bowl record. A stunned Oregon team looks on. The all-Big 12 return man, along with being a defensive back, Ben Kelly lights it up for Neuheisel and the Buffaloes on the opening kickoff. Jeremy Aldridge. And now Akili Smith, and the Ducks stunned over there on that far side. They find themselves down by 7 points.
We have had a lot of rain this morning, and a few of the Ducks come down, and on their web feet, they slip on the turf. Watch the left side of the screen. There's one. There's another on the outside, and now it just opens up. These two men slip and fall down. And now it's just the outstanding speed of the sophomore. Ben Kelly, as he gets down that sideline, comes real close to stepping out of bounds, but the official was right there. And Kelly points to the goalpost, and 6 points for the Buffaloes. Man, what a start.
Mr. Excitement as far as Colorado is concerned. Easy on him because he's got a long afternoon back there at that defensive back spot. And Aldridge to kick it off. Following the 93-yard return for a touchdown on the opening kickoff. Back deep, Michael Fletcher, number 1. Jason Cooper, number 20, is alongside him. And then we will see Akili Smith. High and short, and the fair catch signal at 26-yard line. And so here is Kelly, his own words on returning a kick.
First, I want to start off, not at a dead sprint. I want to start off so I can get the defense, try to throttle down a little bit. And then when I see a crease or I see a hole, go burst through it and try to catch them off guard while they're still jogging. I try to burst full speed through them and get behind like that. And after that, that's the punter to beat. So off to the races.
And obviously that was on returning a punt, because he said he had the punt to beat, and this time he had the kickoff man to return. Akili opens up, going deep. Long ball, incomplete. Intended for Donald Haynes, the flanker. And Damon Wheeler, the defensive back, with the coverage that time. As we take a look, and you will see Mr. Excitement. A year ago, that long pass that he opened up with went for a touchdown against the Air Force Academy in the Vegas Bowl. Damon Griffin will be the go-to receiver, and as Dan told you, Tony Hartley suspended. Marco Aguirre moves back to left tackle, though he is healthy again. And Aguirre, they need him on that blind side. Now from the shotgun, second and 10. Akili, a good runner, sprints hard and going to be forced out of bounds at the 23-yard line with Fred Jones in pursuit. Defensively for the Buffaloes, and this is a press defense. Jones, you just saw, forcing Akili out of bounds. A good rush in. Hannibal Navy's talented senior, and folks, remember this name, Jay-Sean Sykes. And there you see the corners, Damon Wheeler and Ben Kelly. Kelly, of course, already has returned the kickoff, and Damon Wheeler on coverage. But I want you to remember that name again. Jay-Sean Sykes, a freshman All-American. He is a big-timer about to happen in college football. We face now a 3rd and long, and Akili pulls out down the middle over through the intended receiver, Donald Haynes, and it is 3 and out on the first series.
I think the Ducks are still shocked by that 93-yard kickoff return by Ben Kelly. One thing that happens in bowl games, especially here in Hawaii, is teams tend to lose their focus and concentration. All of a sudden, you're playing a ball game at 10:30 in the morning, and where that shows up most is on special teams. Already seen 2 Oregon Ducks slip and fall, and Kelly with his speed go all the way.
Josh Bidwell, one of the best punters in college football, standing inside his 10-yard line, and you know who's back there, ready for his second return of the day. This one on the punt. It is Kelly. Kelly handles the ball at the 27-yard line, looks for an alley on the right-hand side. And he steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and that's where Colorado will have it with its first offensive possession of the game. The Buffaloes lead it by 7. Timeout.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. With an advanced 4-wheel disc anti-lock braking system, it delivers the best stopping ability in its class. And that's good news for everyone. The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever. And 4-Wheeler Magazine's 4-Wheeler of the Year.
For a free investing guide, call 1-800-FIDELITY or visit fidelity.com.
Thanks, Hotshot. Watch your fingers.
Cars are now breaking the sound barrier. Serves are clocked at 140. We can travel 18,000 miles an hour into space. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil Liquid Gels, the first and only pain reliever in a faster-acting liquid-filled capsule that's gentle on your stomach. On tough pain, Advil Liquid Gels are stronger and faster than extra-strength Tylenol. Headaches to muscle aches. New Advil Liquid Gels. Advanced medicine for pain. Stronger and faster.
On 2020 Tonight, straight from the headlines, where these children switched at birth, the mother who discovered the heartbreaking story speaks. On 2020 Tonight.
Quarterback Mike Machete, a junior who transferred from a junior college into Boulder this year. He'll have Marlon Barnes back there in that backfield along with Dwayne Charrington. So they open up with 2 running backs in a passing formation for New Heisel. And we'll see what Machete comes up with on first down. They both flare, in trouble, sacked for the first time on the 34-yard line. So we asked Machete his motivation for this game today against Oregon. Here's what he had to say.
We're tired of hearing about how great Oregon is and how great their offense is. And nobody ever talks about Colorado's offense. All I keep reading is, you know, Akili Smith this and Akili that. So, you know, we're going to have something to prove.
You might want to remember the name Saul Patu also, because that is the young Oregon defender who sacked him. Patu is only a sophomore, 6'3", 265 pounds. Puts Colorado back in second and long. And Barnes, the elusive one, shakes free. Healthy today, short of midfield and the first down marker, with Justin Wilcox starting at free safety and making the stop. Let's check in on the lineups now. Marlon Barnes out of Memphis, a senior. And, of course, being healthy is huge as far as the Colorado running game is concerned. When Machete puts it up, Darren Cheverini is a go-to guy, 52 catches on the year. The offensive line has been troubled by injuries all season long. Johannigmeyer, 3 games at right tackle. He's had 5 at center, 3 at left tackle where he is today. 3rd down and short, and Barnes is going to be stuffed, forcing the Buffaloes to punt. Terry Miller and Patu making the stop, and they were all over Barnes that time.
That's the key to the Oregon defense. They may give up a long running play, as we saw on the play previous to that one, but with their penetration and blitzing, they're going to make some big plays in the backfield. That was a key one on 3rd and short.
Nick Peach. He did have 2 blocked, and we highlight that with Michael Fletcher back deep to return this on 4th and 3. It was about this point at midfield in the 4th quarter of the Cotton Bowl where they faked it, but there is no fake here. Leading early by 7, and Peach's punt takes a bounce and is going to be out of bounds, and it is going to be marked at the 8-yard line. So Akili Smith comes out, and he was asked about the focus of the passing attack against Colorado today.
We really believe that we can throw the football on these guys on watching them in film because of what they faced in their conference. And the only team that we've seen that really tried to pass against them was K-State, and Michael Bishop had a few receivers that was open that he could have hit. So we're game planning some things right now, and hopefully I can hit our receivers in the chest.
Well, one thing about his receivers, they figure to be covered here today. They play man, Colorado does. They show press coverage right now with Wheeler and Kelly on the outside receivers. And Akili to Latimer. Latimer across the 10 to about the 12-yard line. Picks up about 4 yards on that carry. Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, one of the concerns that Rick Neuheisel had, in fact, counseled his defense before they went back out, is that arm and the amount of passes that Akili Smith gets. He took all of his players aside on defense, and he said, get a lot of water, get a lot of rest. Smith is going to put it in the air for a long time. It's going to be a long game. He doesn't like 3 and out on the offense. He wants to save that defense.
Coming up with 2nd and 6, Jack, slot formation. Donald Haynes is off to Akili's left. Akili going to drop off, incomplete, and it was dropped that time by Chris Young, the fullback. Went to the short side of the field, Dan.
Well, the one thing that Oregon coming out, the shock of the kickoff return, and now they look to be playing without any intensity. Of course, they have terrible field position to start their 2nd possession.
Mike Bellotti on the far side. Akili has misfired on his first 3 passes of the game. Now, first completion for a 1st down, and he puts it into Damon Griffin's hands. Griffin caught 50 passes this year, 17.8 average and 7 touchdowns. He's the senior who missed all of last season because of an injury. A very talented wide man.
You know, one thing against Griffin and Haynes, and when Tony Hartley was playing for the Ducks, is once they catch the ball, they are dangerous runners with the ball after the catch. That time, Griffin came very close to breaking a long one. The corners were playing off in soft coverage.
Griffin goes out wide to the short side of the field, and the slot man comes down to the right for Akili here. 10:49 left in our opening quarter. The Jeep Aloha Bowl. Ho Ching checks in for the first time today, and he is stuffed. Herman Ho Ching, a freshman running back from Long Beach, had a little disciplinary problem a couple of days ago, and so yesterday at their final walkthrough practice, Ho Ching was rolling one end of the field and then back again.
And back again and back again. He rolled probably about 4 or 5 miles because it was about an hour-and-a-half practice, and he spent the entire practice rolling. I'm sure the coaches got their message across to the young freshman.
John Minardi, a wide receiver, is now in at safety for Colorado. He has played both positions this season. 2nd down and 11 for Akili. Wide out to the right. Akili looking in that direction, going to throw deep. Bobbled and robbed. Bobby Nero took a shot at it, coming up over the top of Nate Wright, the redshirt freshman, and certainly you go back with the Wright family.
Yes, Nate Wright, the great cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings. And Nate Jr., a real look-alike. Not only do they have Nate Wright, they have Willie Wood, the great Hall of Fame cornerback, safety of the Green Bay Packers. His grandson, Terrence Wood, is a redshirt freshman on this ball club. Take a look at this play. There is Wright, number 25, in perfect coverage. Good pressure that time by Sykes right up the middle. Forced that throw to be just underthrown.
They're down at 11 now for the Ducks, trailing it by 7 here in the early going. Akili sprints hard to the right. Fires, juggled, incomplete. Would have been very close to a first down, but he could not hang on. Haynes juggling as he stepped out of bounds on that play, and a costly one because it forces Oregon to punt again. So in the early going, we see Oregon missing Tony Hartley, Dan.
Absolutely. Akili Smith has thrown to Donald Haynes a couple of times, yet to complete one to him. We've seen the ball underthrown a little bit. Good pressure by the Buffaloes, but juggled passes is a lack of concentration. Pure and simple.
Ben Kelly back. Bidwell running again, standing the Oregon 11-yard line. Josh booms one high, fielded at the 32, and down he is at the 35-yard line. That's where the ball will be marked. There does not have to be contact as there is in the National Football League. It'll be marked down where his knee went down. We're going to take a break. Merry Christmas from all of us here in Honolulu. Colorado leads it 7-0.
Hang on to your diapers, baby. We're going in.
All your favorite characters.
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
The fast-moving Arctic front is bringing heavy snowfall, high winds gusting up to 100 miles per hour, and hail 3 inches in diameter across the central plain.
Highs in the mid-80s, trade winds a gentle 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looks like another beautiful day.
Escape to the warm waters of Sheraton's Waikiki. Rooms start at just $150. Stay 5 nights, and the 5th night is free. Call 1-800-782-9488.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee with infrared dual-zone climate control. The only system in the world that actually reads body surface temperatures of driver and front passenger. At the slightest change, it automatically adjusts the cabin temperature. So conditions inside stay comfortable, even when the environment outside isn't. The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever. And Peterson's 4-Wheel and Off-Road Magazine's 4x4 of the year.
The Jeep Aloha Bowl is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever. Sheraton, experience the warmth of Sheraton's Waikiki. And National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Bowl Championship Series. Mike Machete, his second series, and Brandon McLemore checks in at free safety, replacing Wilcox for the first time today. Barnes stepping back behind the left side of his line for about 2 yards. Michael Fletcher, the rover, making the stop. Terry Miller leads Oregon in sacks this year. Very talented rush in for the Ducks. Aaron Chevron in the middle. 3 linebackers have picked up the slack after losing Peter Sermon early this season. And Justin Wilcox drew the start, but he has been replaced here by McLemore in the second series. Marcus Spivey and Marlon Barnes are in at running back. Spivey, the fullback, set in the eye in front of Barnes. Play fake. Machete fires high, incomplete, and out of bounds. Robert Toller, the intended receiver.
Real key for Colorado throwing the ball today is to be able to protect Mike Machete. Was sacked 49 times coming into the game, and on his first possession, Saul Patu got to him for a sack. In Oregon, where they don't have statistical goals, they know they can look at what a team has done as far as protecting their quarterback, get a pretty good idea that they can get after Machete and put him on the ground.
3rd down and 7. Machete, also a minor league baseball player with the Oakland A's organization, snaps one off high and a little bit behind Javon Green, and it is incomplete, and Colorado forced to punt again.
Well, Machete's pass previous to that was thrown poorly, way out of bounds. That ball wasn't that poorly thrown to Green. Thrown a little bit high, but you got to make that catch, because if he does and comes down, he's got a first down for the Buffaloes.
McPeach and Fletcher back deep again for the Ducks. By now, Dan, you would think that the Ducks might have shaken off that opening kickoff return by Kelly for a touchdown, and they might be ready to settle in. Their defense has played very well against Colorado so far.
That's the key, and they should get a lot better field position, although Fletcher gambles, and it goes into the end zone.
So it'll come out on the 20-yard line. So we come down to the conclusion of the regular season in the National PC. Jackaroo, what about the adjustments on the Oregon offense, my friend?
Well, Brent, according to what I'm hearing on the sidelines, Damon Griffin may have voiced it the best. He's very concerned about the secondary. It looks as if they're tying up the wide receivers for the Oregon Ducks. So what they've decided to do is get more physical, use more hand action. We don't have an NBA, so let's do some hand checking in college football.
Yeah, you got to battle your way off that line of scrimmage sometime. There comes the flea flicker back to Akili, trying to buy wide open, right down the middle of the field, and it is incomplete. Wheeler caught up with it at the end. The ball appeared to hang a little bit. It was intended for Damon Griffin.
Absolutely, Brent. Here's a great play by Oregon. Well executed. The pitch back by Ho Ching is perfect, but Akili has trouble getting the ball properly placed in his hand, and then it does float on him, throwing into the swirling wind. Great job by the Buffaloes, 3 back there to knock it down. But this ball, well underthrown.
You could see the pursuit of the defensive backfield. This Colorado defensive backfield is one of the best in the Big 12, and Oregon will have its hands full passing against them. Very tough on the corners. And they run back with Latimer back in the game to the 25-yard line, and this is going to leave them with about a 3rd and 5 coming up as Nick Ziegler makes the stop for the Buffaloes.
And another problem, Jack talked about that bump and run on the outside and what a good job the Buffaloes are doing holding up the Oregon receiver. Watch for Oregon now to use some more motion. Put those wide receivers in motion, back them off the line of scrimmage a little bit. That will allow them to get a little bit better release off the line of scrimmage away from the bump and run.
Michael Lewis checks in as the nickel man for Colorado, and you can see across the front as you look at your screen, you can see the man coverage. Kelly going with Griffin underneath. They hit him, and Kelly knocks him out of bounds, but it's a first down. He crosses the 30-yard line and picks up the first down, and there's the experience of Damon Griffin. He knew where to take it after he caught the pass.
And Akili came with the motion. You'll see Griffin from the left side of the screen. There he is to the outside, and because he was in motion, that didn't allow Kelly to get his hands on him and tie him up at the line of scrimmage.
Just across the 30-yard line. First down for Oregon. Trailing Colorado on Christmas Day by a touchdown. The opening kickoff return 93 yards by Ben Kelly for Colorado. Here on first down, Herman Ho Ching back in the lineup. Fumble. Colorado tried to help the official, saying they've got it. The umpire down at the bottom of the pile. He'll try to sort it out right now. This is a whack through, and yes, Colorado recovers the Ho Ching fumble. Wes White was the umpire digging into the middle of that pile.
This is a disastrous half of a first quarter for Oregon. Incomplete passes, a touchdown on a kickoff return, and now a fumble by Herman Ho Ching, and the Buffaloes have excellent field position at the Oregon 33-yard line.
And we'll see if Machete and the Buffaloes can move the ball. The Oregon defense stopped them on their first 2 series. Here is the toss to Marlon Barnes. He beats the first defender with a slick move. Makes his way to the 29-yard line. Picks up a couple of yards. Vanderveer brings him down, but that was a fine move by Barnes just to gain a couple of yards.
Offensive coordinator Carl Durrell's goals today, well, 60% pass completion. That's about what they've been doing with Machete. But it's on third down where they've only converted on 36% that they feel they have to do better today and get that 100-yard rusher, whether it's Barnes or Charrington or Barton. Doesn't really matter. Just give me one.
Daniel Graham checks in as an extra blocker. Machete slips, sets the screen, incomplete. Broken up. Fletcher jumped into the middle of the action over there and broke it up. Alert play by the Rover.
Well, that's one thing the quarterback's got to be aware of is when your opponent's blitzing you on a screen pass, that means they've got man-to-man coverage on the man you want to throw the ball to. That was just a case of Oregon having the perfect defense called for that particular offensive play.
Well, 3rd and 8 coming up, and Machete, he's as cold as Akili. He's 0 for 3, so both passing games are struggling right now. This figures to be the 4th pass of the game as far as Machete is concerned. Deep down the middle to the end zone, incomplete. And he overthrew Darren Cheverini in the end zone that time. And Colorado will attempt a field goal. And Jackaroo, what's the problem with the footing down here on the field?
Well, Brent, we had some Hawaii snow earlier in the day, some liquid sunshine, and this field is deceiving. You may see on the field, looks nice and dry. But watch that. So the minute you try to make a plant with your foot, you start to get loose footing. Now, both these teams are used to inclement weather, but as the heat continues to burn this off, the footing should get better.
Well, here's Jeremy Aldridge. This would be his longest of the season if he makes it, a 48-yarder. Well on its way. Got it. Jeremy Aldridge. His longest field goal of the season, a 48-yarder, and Colorado builds a 10-point lead. What set it up was the fumble by freshman running back Herman Ho-Ching. Ball is stripped free. Buffaloes pounce on it. They can't advance, but they kick the field goal. Timeout.
Hi, this is John Oates from Hall & Oates. When I'm in the recording studio, I make sure things sound right. Hey guys, that sounds good, but I've got to hear this on my Infinity sound system. Only Infinity delivers dependable, accurate, natural sound. With Infinity, you can be sure that everything you hear sounds great. There's nothing beyond Infinity.
They say technology gives you the freedom to experience the world, especially when it's so affordable, like Jeep Cherokee Sport. With air, power windows and locks, and remote keyless entry at no extra charge. Cherokee Sport. Now that's a cool way to access the sites you see online.
It is one of the most powerful warships, with satellite communications, radar and propulsion systems that are the most advanced in the world. But USS Mitcher cannot do a single thing without you. Because the most important part of USS Mitcher is her crew of over 250 sailors who every day embark on a journey of honor, of courage, and of commitment. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
It's time to change to 8 on Tuesday night. The new time for home improvement on ABC.
Michael Fletcher, back deep. And Aldridge, who just kicked a 48-yard field goal with the ball on the tee, drives it toward the end zone. And coming out is Fletcher. Bad gamble. Crushed at the 16-yard line. Well, a lot of action coming your way on New Year's Day here on ABC. At 1 p.m., the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl, Michigan, Arkansas. Then the Rose Bowl, presented by AT&T, matching UCLA against Wisconsin. We'll close it off with the Nokia Sugar Bowl, Ohio State against Texas A&M. So certainly ABC is the place to be on New Year's Day for college football. Then a reminder that on January 4th, They'll play for all the Tostitos down in Tempe for the national championship. Tennessee and Florida State. Now Akili Smith with Oregon down by 10. And the running back slipping. This was Latimer. Darian Latimer recovering from an appendectomy in the lineup, and he slips.
And you know, Oregon's offense coordinator, Jeff Tedford, is hating what he's seeing. He wants to get to the red zone before he can even score there. Third down efficiency's been pretty good this year, but so far, they have rushed the ball 6 times for 5 yards. And that all goes back to Reuben Drone's injury in the UCLA game. Oregon's running attack has just not been the same without him.
Might want to call Phil Knight and rush in some different shoes for the second half. What I'm watching here, he's a Oregon graduate, throws high and incomplete, and it is third down and long. Griffin, and did you see the coverage, Dan, by Kelly that time? I want to tell you, the corners in Colorado, they are as impressive as any we've seen this year, just watching them in action here.
And you know, they're not real big guys, both 5'10", about 180 pounds, but the excellent quickness. Watch the footwork here. He jumps to the inside, little grab there, but that grab was early enough that the officials aren't even looking for it.
And remember, this is not like the NFL. You can stay with that man and continue to bump him until that ball is in the air. There is not a 5-yard restraining line in college football. And here is third down and long now for Akili, trying to rally, backside pressure, throw it back incomplete, and the heat was on from Freddie Jones coming.
Well, Freddie Jones has done that to Akili Smith all the way back in high school. Went to St. Augustine High School in San Diego. Akili, of course, from Lincoln High School. And watch Freddie Jones come, number 13. This isn't a sack, but it's almost as good. Sends a message to his old buddy. Trying to set up a screen pass to the weak side, but the speed of Jones, he gets by Aguirre, and it's no contest.
And the Colorado defense doing an excellent job against Akili. He is only 2 of 10 for 21 yards. That is about 2 yards an attempt. Low snap. Bidwell picks it up. Booms one to Kelly. Great punt. Kelly drops it. Got to pick it up on the bounce. Still bobbles the ball, and he'll go down. Fumble! Ball was loose. Ball was loose at about the 17-yard line. Colorado regaining possession, but it was very dangerous down there as Rashidi Barnes, a junior free safety on the special team, comes back, and let's see if he recovers it, Dan.
And Kelly got a nice bounce there. He just whiffed on it, then he whiffs on the dive. That's excellent hustle by Barton there.
Damian Barton. That's who pounced on the ball. A tailback who's been bothered by some injuries this season. He pounces on the football and saves it.
And Brent, when you get that long punt like that, and you're a great punt returner like Kelly is, he's thinking, this is great. This is an opportunity to make a big play. Almost made a disastrous play.
So Rick Neuheisel trying to get some offense going here. Machete throws some drops. Stiggers dropped the ball, and we asked Coach Neuheisel what Colorado has to do to win the game, and here's what he had to say.
We've got to control the ball. We've got to make Akili Smith throw the ball faster than he wants to, and we've got to cover. But if we can get a couple big plays, run the ball effectively, and I think put our speed on their speed, I like our chances.
So far, so good for Rick, but he has to be very frustrated, and you have watched him on the sideline. He will show you his frustration. He's a little bit like Steve Spurrier in that regard. And, of course, they've had one big play on the kickoff return, but they haven't been able to move the ball offensively. Oregon's defense doing a good job. Wide open, incomplete. Toller is overthrown, and there is a penalty flag on the coverage. Michael Fletcher complaining on the play. I thought it was just overthrown, but apparently there was interference or holding. We will let them sort it out.
I think what Fletcher's saying is that the ball was overthrown and it wasn't catchable. But the official will say, well, if you didn't bump into him, maybe he could have caught it. Ball is overthrown a bit. And that is a good call by the officials right on top of that play. Whether it's overthrown or not, the receiver stopped. Looked like he misjudged it that time. Robert Toller, number 17.
David Lambros, the field judge, made the call on that play. And in our replay, you could see it was a good one. Bill McCabe, he is our referee. These are WAC officials. So it's a 15-yard penalty, and it gives Colorado a 1st and 10. So that is the best gain from scrimmage for the Buffaloes so far. Remember, they've had a 93-yard return for a touchdown on the opening kickoff by Kelly. 1st down and 10, Machete. Now he'll run up the middle, and he slips, too, at the 36-yard line. So the slippage is not restricted to Oregon in this game under any circumstance. And I suspect with the sun coming out now, Dan, this surface will dry, huh?
Well, there was a lot of rain. It looked like he had trouble with the exchange, and that's been a problem for Machete on the year. He's lost 8 of 16 fumbles, and a number of them have been on the center exchange. But, yeah, you would expect this place to dry up in a big hurry. It's probably pretty hot down there. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah. 2nd down and 7. Barnes behind the right side, throwing forward 3 yards.
And just an observation about both teams' defenses. It appears that the defenses are a little bit quicker so far. The linebackers of both teams are getting good penetration. The offensive line just looks really slow for both teams. But that usually is the case when you have a lot of time to prepare between your last regular season game and a bowl game, is that there's a lot more time for defenses, number one, to get healthy and to put in different types of stunts.
3rd down and 4. Colorado 0 for 3 on 3rd down. Machete set the screen, and it is batted backwards. A beautiful play that time by Anthony Martin, the senior defensive end from San Jose.
Well, 6'5" for that senior defensive end, and he used that height well that time. Saw the screen coming behind him, and Machete, of course, they've got him listed at 6 feet, but if he's 6 feet tall, so is Jackaroo.
You're going to get even, aren't you, for him calling Akili Smith the greatest quarterback in the history of Oregon football?
It's not that I don't.
Payback is a you-know-what, my friend, on the field.
It's not that I don't agree with the assessment, but gee.
It hurts on Christmas morning, doesn't it? Booming punt. Over Fletcher's head. He blocks again, and it goes on into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. So the Ducks down here by 10, and Dan, as you watch Akili, and again, he's only 2 of 10, do you see anything that they might be able to try against a very, very talented defensive backfield of Colorado?
You know, one thing they haven't tried is the option play, and Oregon knows that whenever you have a defense that will put 8 to 9 men up in that box, crowd that line of scrimmage, that an option play can be very, very effective. Just ask the USC Trojans, where when Akili Smith went 62 yards on an option play against a blitzing type of defense, and that play propelled Oregon over the Trojans of USC. So watch for maybe a little bit of option on this series.
Well, they have brought the fullback in, Chris Young, along with Herman Ho-Ching. And on 1st down, a play fake. Akili stands to the middle, knocked away from the tight end that time, Jet Weaver, who has 36 catches on the season, and Jay Sean Sykes, number 7. Folks, you're going to hear that name over and over for the next couple of seasons at Colorado and throughout college football. Write it down right now. If this young man stays healthy, in 2 years, he'll make a move on the Butkus Award. He is that good. He was able to come in as a freshman, and he was able to assimilate A.J. Kristoff's complex defense, handled it right from the get-go. Physically, extremely talented, but it was mentally where he impressed the coaches at Colorado. 2nd down and 10. There is your option look. Here is Ho-Ching. Good call, Dan, to the 24-yard line, and a penalty flag is down.
Yeah, late hit, Brent. Ho-Ching was down on the ground after a fine tackle on the outside, and when those linebackers came over with the old spear shot, that may get Oregon going. They need something. Here's the quick option, and here's the fine tackle on the outside as Ho-Ching picks up about 3 yards. There's the shot right there, and that's Gregorek, number 35, the backup middle linebacker, trying to make a statement.
First down and 10 as the result of the penalty. The ball is being brought out to the 39-yard line. Oregon, of course, without one of the fine running backs in the first part of the season in college football. Reuben Drones rushed for 824 yards before leaving the team with an injury, and it has not been the same. Fumble, running the ball, and Colorado recovers at the 34-yard line. That is the second turnover by Oregon's Herman Ho Ching. The freshman running back gives it up again, and Fred Jones, playing a whale of a game defensively, recovered that fumble.
Simple lead play off the right side. Good penetration. Like number 94, Sean Jarney, with the big hit there. And it's a great job of getting after the ball by Fred Jones, number 13, as he beats Akili Smith to that loose one.
Now the question is whether or not Mike Machete and the Buffaloes can move the ball against this Oregon defense. Machete's still looking for his first completion of the game. Here it is on first down. Here comes the end around, and it is Stiggers with an alley. Hello, 15 out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. This one's going to be marked almost at the 6-yard line. It was wide open, baby. Broadway looming at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Perfectly executed. Great pitch by Machete around the defensive end, and now the block on the outside, and Stiggers comes real close to getting it all the way in the end zone.
A 28-yard run by Stiggers. Gary Barker saved the touchdown. Machete now with a first and goal for Colorado. Buffalo's already up by 10. Oregon under fire here in the early going. Barnes is stuffed. The Colorado offensive line gave up 47 sacks this season, and it was largely because of injuries. They are healthier today than they have been throughout the season, but I think you can tell from how the Oregon defensive front is outplaying them that there still must be some concern on the offensive line by Neuheisel's staff, because they have not opened good running holes. They did it with a trick play for 28 yards that freed Marcus Stiggers.
And that was a great play because it took advantage of Oregon's aggressiveness and the way they floated the ball. The counter on the reverse was outstanding.
Here is second down. Machete fires, got it. His first reception's a touchdown. Javon Green grabs it for the score. So Ho Ching's fumble proves costly as Stiggers, 28-yard end around, sets up the touchdown pass, and it was Machete to Green.
And on the outside, he jumps inside the corner. Eric Edwards, ball is well thrown. Takes advantage of the size of Green at 6'2". He shielded the defender away from the ball for the touchdown.
Now Jeremy Aldridge. 48-yard field goal, and now the extra point. And Colorado stuns Oregon in the opening quarter. Mike Bellatti's team must play catch-up now, but he has the firepower for it. He's just got to get Akili Smith loosened up. And the young man, Herman Ho Ching, is having a disaster here in the early going. You can see Reuben Drones there, number 22. We talked about him. And, of course, he's trying to pick up the young man's spirits back there on the bench. Reuben telling him, forget the last one. It's the next one that matters, young man. We'll take a break, but right now it is all Colorado. Timeout.
It would have been easy to have been a football player and not a student. And conversely, it would have been much easier to have been just a student and left football for some other day and time. But it wouldn't have been as joyous, as rich, as humbling to have been one without the other. So for all of us, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, not for a single award on a single night, but for the many memorable and molding moments that we have had the privilege to call ourselves student athletes.
Well, Rick Neuheisel saying, let's say Merry Christmas with our headgear. And so far, the Buffaloes are doing just that. So it will be up to Akili Smith here, Dan, to lead the way back for Oregon.
And he also talked about he liked his chances with the speed of his ball club. So far, we've seen good pressure on the defensive side, and Ben Kelly's kickoff return, and then the reverse. Good play calling as well.
kickoff again. Fletcher from the 12-yard line. This time, Fletcher returns it to the 34-yard line, and he is down. Well, we saw Reuben Drones over there trying to pick up the spirits of Herman Ho Ching. And let us take you back to early this season. Oregon did not really know Reuben Drones. This is the first game. He took charge inside the locker room prior to the Michigan State game. And then he delivered the goods. If you're going to talk the talk, you best walk the walk. And Drones did. But then, in a painful moment, he broke his leg against UCLA. And the Oregon running game has not been the same. Here's Jackaroo.
And Brent, Reuben Drones has continued to be an emotional spark plug for this team. Down the way you are, what do you say to your teammates?
Keep it up, keep your heads up. I mean, nothing can stop us. I mean, these guys, they may be up on us, but hey, we still got that spark, and if we continue to have that spark, we can do things with it.
Brent, I'm going to ask him about footing in a second.
All right, here's Akili pulling out. Jack looking, dropped at the 45, and there is a penalty flag back around the quarterback. There is a penalty on the play. So, Jack, as we sort out this penalty and watch that on the field, go ahead with Reuben.
Reuben, we were talking before we went on the air about footing here, and you seem to think maybe there's a change that the Ducks can make at halftime.
Yeah, well, these cleats right here, I think, are a lot better than the other ones right now that some of them are using. But some of them are got these on because the field is a little bit soaked and it's a little slippery out there.
So you're going to go to the coaches and tell them?
I'm not saying nothing.
Brent?
That'll be the first time that he's saying nothing.
and Brent, Hannibal Navy's number 8 is going to hit Akili Smith late. There's Fred Jones, but this is a shot there by Navies that takes the legs away from Smith. Dangerous type of tackle, and in the referee's mind, a little bit too late.
17-0, still plenty of time remaining for this explosive passing game. But two things have to happen for Oregon. They must have better footing, and they must hold on to the football. I've seen a couple of passes that I think could have been caught, and I think the players probably know that. They can't fumble the ball. Here's the handoff to Latimer from his back. He's got an alley on the right side. He makes his way to Colorado's 46-yard line. Nate Wright making the stop. So big plays have certainly defined this Jeep Aloha Bowl so far. Ben Kelly's 93-yard kickoff return for the score. Then the two fumbles leading to 10 Colorado points, and it is 17-0.
Yeah, it's curious that both teams are having trouble with the footing. Both teams play on artificial surface in their respective stadiums. I think that rain has a little bit to do with it this morning.
Second down and 4. Latimer on a cutback, and he powers his way close, very close to a first down that time before Jarney can hog time. And Latimer seems to be playing with a little fire right now in his belly, which is what the Ducks need.
Well, he got the start today, and because Herman Ho Ching has fumbled twice, I would expect to see a whole lot more of number 6 this afternoon.
I think that's Jarney, who is down right now. Started 4 games at defensive tackle. Shaken up on the play. It was a first down for Oregon.
And the Buffaloes have got to wonder, what is the deal with all the injuries? So many of their players throughout the year have been hurt. They started off well with 5 straight wins, especially that big one against Colorado State to start the year. But then the injury bug has just been an epidemic and very contagious.
Well, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, we mentioned that coming your way on ABC. That is Monday at 8 Eastern time. Who do you like, Dan? Tennessee or Florida State in that one?
Well, you know, everybody has kind of sold Tennessee short all year long, and I will, again, I like Florida State.
I'll go with the volunteer stuff that my buddy Bobby Bowden. First down and 10.
Just because he kicked you out of practice, pal. Don't hold a grudge.
First down and 10. At the 41-yard line for Oregon. Haynes comes in motion. Akili under fire again, and he overthrows the intended receiver. But that was Jesse Warren, the junior defensive tackle, who was pressuring the quarterback. And part of the game plan for Christoph was to try and reduce the amount of time Akili has had throwing the football. And so far, Colorado has done an excellent job at that.
And what I would expect to see from Oregon now is to move Akili more. It really appears that the Buffaloes are zeroing in on the pocket. That time, Akili set his back foot, and he was hit by Warren as he let the ball go. So look for Akili to use his mobility and move this pocket, get away from that pressure.
Damon Griffin, and he is being stalked by Ben Kelly. Slot left, Akili rolling short side and no pressure. Down because Sykes was right there. Wow, they're really bringing some heat, and there's the freshman linebacker, number 7, Sykes.
Well, and I know that Oregon looked at the Nebraska game tape, and they saw number 7 with a great move there to get away from the running back, but he had 14 tackles against Nebraska, including 2 sacks.
Chad Chance has to pick him up on that play. Did you see him go off as a pass receiver, Dan? He's got to learn that when there's a linebacker coming like that, his first responsibility is to make a block and not let him run right past him.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Wow. 3rd down and long. Akili backs Blair. Got time. Rifles. Griffin's got it. First down inside the 20-yard line. There's their best-looking pass play of the game so far.
And that really shows maturity on Akili Smith's part, because he's had receivers dropping balls. We've seen the tight end drop one. We've seen Haynes drop one. But this guy, Damon Griffin, the senior playing in his last game for the Ducks, he's not going to drop that one. He knows his team needs a big play, and now they're in the red zone where they seem to score almost every time.
The first quarter comes to an end on that 27-yard gain, but it began with Ben Kelly going 93 yards, his second kickoff return for a touchdown in his Colorado career, and then the freshman, Herman Ho Ching, put it on the Hawaiian carpet twice. That turned into 10 more points for Colorado. They lead it. Timeout.
You might find them in a small-town schoolhouse.
Colorado leading Oregon at the Jeep Aloha Bowl in Honolulu, 17-0. Merry Christmas, everybody, as we start the second quarter. And Dan, Oregon in the red zone where they have been lethal this season.
And the key here is they're not settling for field goals. That's 27 touchdowns out of 46 tries in the red zone.
One right here will put him right back in the middle of this game. Keeley, Bobby Nero, bottom of your screen, number 15, slot formation. Looks in that direction. Comes to him underneath beautifully at the 15-yard line. Nero stays to the 10. And it will be first down and goal from there with Ben Kelly, the defensive back for the Buffaloes.
Going to say his knee came down just outside that 10-yard line, Brent, so he's going to be just a little bit short, but these are really miserable numbers. The one completion there for Nero, the other 3 have been to Damon Griffin for Oregon.
Griffin goes out to the right. Nero's in the slot, and Haynes is to the left. Latimer is the Oregon running back, so it is second down and 1. Option look. Latimer runs to the corner, and he's short of the first down. In fact, he gave up yardage on that play. And Sykes was in pursuit along with Wright.
Well, watch the play right here by Ian Loper, number 90. He does a good job of forcing the pitch. Actually, Smith pitched the ball too soon. Loper forces Latimer deep, and there's his help from the secondary. So Akili Smith has got to hang on to that ball a little bit longer and pitch it so that the defensive end can make a play on both players.
Now, here is 3rd and 2 coming up from outside the 11-yard line right now with LaCorey Collins at H-back. Look, they run Latimer to the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. It broke wide open in the middle of that time for the Ducks.
Well, the Buffaloes were blitzing on this play, Brent. And they got great blocking right here. Watch the double team, and then Latimer will make one man miss. There's Aguirre into freeze, and watch the safety. Beautiful play by Latimer. His scores third touchdown of the year, and boy, did Oregon need that.
Barnes had the last shot. Nathan Villegas adds the extra point. He is now 53 of 53 this season, kicking extra points. Now watch the touchdown, and watch the last man who has a shot at him. It's Barnes, the free safety. Latimer beats him for 6. Time out.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. While it boasts a new uniframe construction, a quieter, more powerful engine, and an agile suspension for a refined ride, rest assured, it's still as rugged as ever.
Welcome back, sir.
The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever. And Four-Wheeler Magazine's Four-Wheeler of the Year.
Step up. Learn to see farther. Learn there are teachers who won't allow you to fail. Learn to dance, to draw. Learn that the real challenge doesn't come from the outside, but from within. And that there's more to you than you ever knew. Be all you can be.
Hi, I'm Doug Flutie, pro football player and father of an autistic child. A lot of people buy Flutie Flakes because a portion of the proceeds go to help autistic children. But there's another way you can help. Dial 1010-220 when you call long distance. You can talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. And every time you use it, a donation will be made to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation. So dial 1010-220, talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, and help some great kids at the same time. It's a win-win situation. I wish football was this easy.
A lot of people think acting is all fun and games. What they don't understand is how grueling it can be. Work, work, work.
Spin City, 9/8 Central. See you Tuesday.
So Oregon, after scoring for the first time today, will kick it away, and Kelly would dearly love to burn him again after that 93-yarder. He's standing right behind Roman Hollowell. They kick away from Kelly and put it into Hollowell's hands. He can hurt you, too. Hasn't had nearly as many, but he's averaged more than 45 yards in return. This one could go out of bounds, and they'll take the penalty. Well, Mike Machete and Akili Smith have one thing in common. Both minor league baseball players, both for 3 seasons. Machete in the Pittsburgh, or I should say Machete in the Oakland organization and Smith in the Pittsburgh organization. And you can see that Machete a little bit better hitter. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why Akili came back to play quarterback in junior college and then, of course, moved on to Eugene, Oregon. Machete has not yet decided whether or not he will continue his baseball career or stick full-time with football. Machete, a shortstop, Akili Smith, an outfielder, and interestingly enough, the scouts did not like Smith's arm in baseball. They said he tried to throw the baseball like a football, and mechanically that did not work. So he's very comfortable. Probable first-round draft choice, perhaps late in the first round. Here's Machete making like a shortstop, slipping backwards and pulls out, and he's out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Jackaroo, what about Mike Machete and baseball and his future?
Well, Brent, he comes from a baseball family. His father actually played in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And Mike said the biggest problem in deciding to give up baseball was simply telling his dad. He thought about it for a long time, and he said, Dad, if you don't love the game, then it's a job. And I don't want a job. He became a football quarterback for Colorado.
Second down and 6. Of course, he, too, came from a junior college first, which is where he has played prior to coming to Boulder. And Barnes to the 41-yard line. And Machete likes to talk about how baseball has helped him as a quarterback. Here's what he has to say.
It's really helped me mentally. You know, I was 18 years old, you know, out on the road with, you know, 20, 25, 26, 27-year-old guys playing every day. You know, it just helped me to, you know, learn how to compete, you know, compete against the best. And that's, you know, being a professional athlete, that's what we did day in and day out.
Well, here he is competing against a very talented Oregon defense, that's for sure. On the move, got a man wide open. Stiggers got him. Stiggers jitterbugs and now needs one block. Touchdown, Colorado. But it was Machete's ability to move laterally, just like a shortstop, that freed him as Stiggers broke open, and it was another big play, a 58-yard touchdown pass. Mike Machete to Marcus Stiggers.
Defensive coordinator Bob Foster said the biggest problem in facing a quarterback with mobility, like Machete, is that he can create. He created on first down after he dropped the snap for 5 yards, and then he found his wide receiver wide open for the score.
Aldrich ready for the extra point for the Buffaloes, and just like that, they regained the 7 points they gave up. Mike Machete with the big play. And watch Marcus Stiggers use his interference as Darren Cheverini gets out in front of him on this play, Dan, and escorts him to the end zone.
Well, he doesn't like what he sees right there. Gets a great block on the outside linebacker, then throws on the run as Eric Edwards gets beat by Stiggers. And then here comes the convoy. Number 6 is Cheverini looking around, just sees Bowman in the way, and doesn't even have to block him to get Stiggers in the end zone.
Now watch Machete on the move. Shortstops have to make this move and throw while they're running. We've all seen that before. And Stiggers breaking free at the other end of the play.
Well, and that great block was thrown by Marlon Barnes on Dietrich Moore. And now this is Stiggers, knowing that he's got a quarterback that can run around a little bit back there, never quitting on the play, and the defensive back isn't even in the picture.
Celebrating 7 more. 58-yard touchdown play. They've had a 93-yard kickoff return and a 58-yard pass play for a touchdown. So 2 big ones for the Buffaloes here in Honolulu today. And this is Cooper coming out for Oregon from the 6-yard line. Alley down at the 29. Did he put it on the carpet? Colorado signaling that they've recovered it over there on that far side. And yes, they're celebrating on the field. That is the 3rd turnover, the 3rd fumble loss by Oregon. This one by Cooper on the return. The special team coach, Bob Houck, excuse me, Dan.
There's the lane right there, Brent, that you talked about. Now watch the sandwich shot right there. There comes the ball. John Sanders with the big hit, and then it's anybody's guess on the bottom of the pile.
So there is Houck, young man whose father was a high school football coach back in Big Timber, Montana. His brother, Tim Houck, still a defensive back with the Indianapolis Colts, playing for Jim Moore in the National Football League. Tim formerly played with Green Bay. Houck also coaches the defensive backfield at Colorado. A young man with a bright coaching future. First down and 10. Barnes breaking free on that left side. A great tackle over there at the line of scrimmage. And that was Nathan Nagy, a junior linebacker, and that might have been 6 more if he didn't make that shoestring stop.
Well, it's almost like a reverse. Number 90 is Nagy, and he's got to stay on the backside here and really sell out on this tackle because Barnes is heading down the sideline there with one other Oregon guy in his way.
2nd down and 11 after the Nagy stop. 4 players are substituted defensively for Oregon as Colorado obviously going to put it up, goes empty in the backfield. They throw the flanker screen to the outside to Javon Green, and Oregon jumped on that play. Brandon McLemore, the free safety.
And you would think that Oregon would need a turnover, but that's something they haven't done very well this year. Only taking the ball away 15 times. And for a team to have an 8-3 record, they have a -5 in the turnover ratio. That's not good.
Cortland Johnson checks in as an extra running back for Colorado. Got a shot at Cortland along with Wayne Sherrington in that backfield. That would indicate a passing formation. They play the backs, and he fires the ball. And that was into Sherrington's hands, and he is hit immediately on the reception, and so that will set up another field goal attempt as McLemore makes the stop. Now Savage has already hit a 48-yarder, his long for the season. He's 17 of 23 after that field goal in the first quarter. So this would be a 41-yarder if he makes it to go along with the 48-yarder in the first quarter. Got it. 2 for 2. Another fumble and another 3 points for Colorado. Timeout. They lead the Chief Aloha Bowl 27-7.
Considering how well it handles the elements under the road, it's no surprise that our newest 4x4 performs so well on the road. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee.
On his last return for the 15, and he is down at the 23-yard line. So Coach Bellotti was asked, what's the most critical thing that you have to do against Colorado here?
I'm going to say throw the football, because for the first time we're facing a team that probably is one of the best pass defense football teams that we've seen all year. Their stats would probably make them #1 in our league on defense. So I always say run the ball, but in this case I think we have to protect Akili and allow him to throw the ball, and we have to loosen them up somewhat with the pass.
Danny certainly has read the situation right, but the protection has broken down upon occasion. Of course, you can never factor turnovers. Coaches will tell you that, and they fumbled it away 3 times in this game. There's that option look that you talked about. Akili's strength as a runner. He breaks free, knocks a helmet off a defender before he is down at the 31-yard line. Now, players who go against Akili Smith will tell you that he likes to talk a lot out there on the field. And that was John Sanders, who had his headgear knocked askew by the quarterback. I mean, he brings it done.
Didn't Neuheisel said we're going to make our Christmas greetings with our headgear? Well, John Sanders is about to lose his headgear when a quarterback hits him right there with the forearm shiver, looking like the old Oakland Raider running back Hewritt Dixon.
Second down and 3 after the 7-yard gain. Latimer on a nice cutback move. First down for the Ducks.
Real good vision by Latimer on that lead play as he ran right away from the middle linebacker, Brandon Southward, who was on a blitz. Twice now that Latimer's had the vision and also the patience to make the move to pick up the yardage.
Akili Smith struggling, trying to throw against this talented defensive unit. Lays it back again. Got man-on-man. Griffin breaks free of Kelly. Griffin goes for it. Got it! A beautiful catch. He was battling Kelly all the way, and he came up with a reception, and he's down at the 8-yard line.
Akili has completed 5 passes on the day. 4 of them have been to number 5, Damon Griffin. Watch the hand fighting here. Great job of pushing off by Griffin at the last minute there. That ball is again just a little bit underthrown, but way to hang with the ball at the very end. Kelly's coming, and so's the ball, and Griffin sets up his team inside the 10.
A 51-yard gain, and that has significance because this is the 9th game, according to our stats man George Hill, that Akili's had a completion of at least 50 yards. That is big time. First down and goal now for the Ducks. Collins the H-back, and they come back counter with the fullback to the 4-yard line, Chad Chance, number 31, the sophomore. Well-designed play that time, and Colorado stops it short of the end zone.
It really appears that Colorado is expecting Oregon to throw the ball when they get on this type of field position, because twice now, the touchdown to Latimer and that trap play to Chad Chance right up the middle, and Buffalo's running by the running back.
So the word from Jackaroo down below is that, yes, Akili is doing a lot of talking, and Ben Kelly of Colorado is answering right back. So they've got a good two-way conversation going on down there. Second down and goal now from the 4-yard line, and Akili option look. Here's Latimer for the flag. Touchdown! 61-yard pass to Damon Griffin sets up the 4-yard touchdown run by Darian Latimer. Here's Villegas, perfect in the extra point department with Bellotti and Akili. Tucking it over on the sideline. Anytime you got Akili, you're never out of it. Still perfect. 54 of 54. Colorado is still ahead at the Jeep Aloha Bowl. Timeout, everybody. The difference in this game, 3 lost fumbles by Oregon, resulting in 13 Colorado points. That's the margin, 27-14. Herman Ho Ching, the freshman running back, lost it twice. Cooper once on a kickoff return. The Buffaloes make them pay with a touchdown and a pair of field goals. They lead it, 27-14, and hoping to get the dangerous man going again against Dan Katz. Short, Hollowell slides into it at the 31-yard line. Could have been real dangerous if it had bounced off of him.
Well, old high school opponents in San Diego. This is Fred Jones on the outside. Watch him come down on Akili Smith and force this quick pitch. Right there. Now Latimer, all he has to do is race for that cone, sell out, and score a touchdown. Jones got a sack on Akili early in the ball game, and now Akili absolutely perfect execution on the option for the score for Oregon.
And we see trotting on out, Darren Cheverini is in at running back. So again, Barnes, his career has been plagued by injuries, and that hurts the Colorado running game as number 10, Charrington, is back at tailback. Shetty rolls away from him, play fake, wide open, it's Cheverini. 40, 35, breaking free. Darren Cheverini for the pylon touchdown. How about that? 72 yards, another big play at the Jeep Aloha Bowl.
A little play action here. Watch Cheverini come from the side. The fake is to this side, and then Machete comes to the outside. And watch the huge hole in the secondary of Oregon. And Cheverini goes the distance. At the end of this, watch Rashad Bowman, 17, come in and try to pop that ball loose instead of going for the tackle.
Here's Aldrich. Perfect. And in second, 14, Colorado of the Big 12, leading Oregon of the Pac-10 right now. Jeremy Aldridge to kick it away. And now it's Oregon's turn. Here's Fletcher. 15. Short of the 20-yard line. And Houck Special Teams continue to do the job for the Buffaloes. Let me remind you that NYPD Blue, Tuesday, starting at 10 Eastern, and we'd like to congratulate NYPD Blue. They were nominated for 2 Golden Globes, the best cop show on TV. Certainly no question about that. If you like a police show, NYPD Blue is the one to watch. So here, Colorado with the lead, 34-14, and now it's Akili's turn. And if you like offense, you love this game.
I love it.
Here's Latimer. He scored both the Duck touchdowns, picks up about a yard. And let's check in with Jack Arun on Akili Smith. Jack?
Well, Brent, Akili may like to jaw a little bit against the opposition, but as we watch him on the sideline, he's very non-pulsed. In fact, he doesn't say much. When that score by Colorado was made, he didn't even shake his head. He just said, that's okay. We'll get back after him. He's been very unemotional on the sideline.
There are the Oregon leaders right now. And Latimer with the 2 touches. Griffin
99 yards, matched against Kelly, and that has been a dandy. Second down, and Akili in the pocket, fires wide open is the tight end, Jed Weaver. And Weaver with a first down for Oregon at the 43-yard line.
First reception for Jed Weaver, number 81 for Oregon. He's their third leading receiver on the year with 36. Here he is, number 81. And what sets him apart from a lot of tight ends is that he averages over 16 yards per reception. Now, for a tight end, that's Kellen Winslow type of numbers, or even Russ Francis type of numbers. Wearing Russ Francis' old number.
Russ right down the way from us, doing some radio broadcasting on this doubleheader today. Washington and the Air Force going to play in the inaugural Oahu Bowl. I'll remind you that coming up next, the National Car Rental Halftime Report. We'll have John Saunders and Todd Blackledge with you. And they're going to feature a look at a young man who has done a great job at quarterback for Tennessee this year, T. Martin. How many of us thought that replacing Peyton Manning was going to be nearly impossible for the Volunteers? And here they are, headed for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl and a shot at a national championship. What a great job for the young man and that team. We've got Lee Gundy down on the ground, the right guard for Oregon, injured. And there's the reminder, January 4th, Tennessee, Florida State, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. It could be, you know, it could be a low-scoring, tough kind of game when you think about how the Seminoles, Bobby Bowden and his staff might approach it. Outson, the quarterback, did a good job against Florida, but he hasn't had all that much experience. I'm not sure that the Seminoles want to play that game wide open and all out.
I think you're absolutely right, Brent. And with Marcus Outson, that was a big concern in the Florida game.
Now, there it gives you an indication of the kind of offense we've had here in this game so far. Colorado with an average of 8.4 yards a play. It's amazing when you consider how the Oregon defense started the game for the first couple of series. They had blanked Machete. Now they've hit him with a couple of huge pass plays. And they have gained a lot of yards after the catch, Dan. You know, that's one thing that defensive coordinators stress so much is not giving up yardage after the catch.
And Oregon's pass defense, giving up over 235 yards per game against the pass. And it really appears that the Buffaloes have done their homework. They know that misdirection and play action and trying to get the ball over the middle of these receivers is the way to attack the Oregon defense.
Bob Foster, the Oregon defensive coordinator, came out of retirement to help Coach Bellotti with the defense this year, and let's hope that our lineman here, a sophomore, Lee Gundy, is going to be all right. They strapped that leg in.
Here's Gundy, number 76, right there. And this is always a nightmare for offensive linemen, getting hit from the blind side while they're working against the guy trying to get at the quarterback.
Well, it looks like looking to cool off a little bit here on the sideline, huh? Let's take a look at the games coming up on January 1st on ABC.
ABC's the place to be on New Year's Day. Our College Bowl celebration begins as Michigan meets Arkansas in the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. Then, the Bowl Championship Series kicks off. UCLA meets Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. And in prime time, Ohio State meets Texas A&M in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. It all begins at 11 a.m. with the Tournament of Roses Parade. That's New Year's Day on ABC.
So they're taking up Gundy toward the Oregon locker room. And Jack, what's the preliminary report down below?
Well, Brent, the report from the doctor for Oregon is the fact they suspect that Gundy may have broken his ankle. So they've taken him back here into the locker room. They will have the ankle x-rayed, then they'll determine. Drones first, now Gundy late in the season. Ankles have been a problem.
Jason Cooper in at tailback. He gets the call and the handoff from Akili. Picked up a yard and no more against the middle of A.J. Kristoff's defense. You know, we look at a young man down there. We've been talking about the freshman linebacker, number 7, Jay Sean Sykes. And A.J. Kristoff went to recruit him. And, of course, A.J. had been an assistant coach down at Alabama when he recruited a young man by the name of Derek Thomas. And he went to Sykes and he said, you know, you remind me very much in your style of play of Derek Thomas. And I think that's all Sykes had to hear, man. He was a Colorado Buffalo right from that moment on. Second down at 9, and he figures to have a fabulous, fabulous career in bowl. There's that option pullback. Akili looking middle. Got his man breaking free. Is Haynes up in the air for the grab at the 22.
We saw Haynes drop a couple of very catchable balls in this first quarter. This is a great catch because Marcus Washington is coming with the big hit. Real good job by Haynes of finding his way through the secondary, getting by the linebacker there. Now watch this hit by Washington as he goes for the ball and hits him in the back of the head. Big play for Oregon. That play took a long time to develop. Good job by Akili Smith and that offensive line finding the wide open guy.
33 yards on that pass play. And Akili from inside the 25. Got a lot of time. Throws high, and Collins can't get it. Incomplete. His H-back, LaCorey Collins, who has been moved to that position here late in the season. Started as one of the wideouts. Highly recruited youngster out of the Oakland, California area.
Well, you know, he's 6'4" and 220 pounds, and what they envision out of Collins is a guy that can play that H-back position. Not enough speed to play the wide receiver, but when you take his speed there and put it at the tight end position, you've got a fast H-back and tight end. That time, Akili Smith missed a wide open guy for a score.
Second down and 10. Latimer, the running back behind Akili. That's Collins, turns back in motion. Here's Latimer to the middle, breaks free. Latimer with 2 scores already and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Marcus Washington, the defender for Colorado.
And it's right at the heart of the Buffalo defense. The isolation play, big hole there, missed tackle there by Jarney, and now out of bounds inside or just right at the 10-yard line. So Oregon responds as this offensive battle really heating up. What was the over and under for the first half, Brent? I know you know that.
About 43.
For the first half?
If you don't know, just make it up. Timeout is called. Oregon using the timeout here just outside of the 10-yard line. They actually could get a first down, but it would be inches away from the goal line down there. And Akili wants to talk about it with the coaches over on the Oregon sideline. We saw Oregon in one of the games that I think defined this college football season, certainly as far as excitement is concerned. And Bellotti and his team lost a heartbreaker in overtime to UCLA. Bob Toledo and Cade McNown, but I still, when I think back to the great season that we have had, some of the games we've seen, Dan, that was certainly the one that I remember. We can take a look at Oregon. That was one of 2 overtime games that they lost. Dan, you can point out there was really only one bad performance by them, and that was against Arizona.
Well, that was a second-half disaster down in the desert as Arizona just ran all over Oregon. But this game has one similarity that plagued the Ducks in that UCLA game, Brent, and that is fumbles. Reuben Drones fumbled a number of times in that game, and Herman Ho Ching and Jason Cooper, his replacements, have fumbled in this one.
One of those stats that you move it until you lead it, right? the Oakland Raiders used to be great at that. Here's Akili on a fake roll, hard right. Hit on the release, incomplete.
Yeah, the speed of the defensive end, Fred Jones, and you've already talked about Jay Sean Sykes on the other side, is just too much for Oregon. They can't quite get to the outside, and give Akili the run-pass option out there. Good job that time by number 13, Fred Jones, and forcing another incompletion.
Second down and 10. Collins in motion. We're going to pound Latimer again to the middle, and he twists to the 5-yard line, and this will be third down from that spot. I guess they thought they were going to surprise them again and spring it for a touchdown on that play, Dan. Otherwise, they're going to have to put it up now for sure.
Well, you would think so, but the way that Oregon has been effective on the ground here and not necessarily throwing the ball, the pressure of the Buffalo defensive line is just getting into Smith's face right away. And he doesn't really have the tall receivers to throw that fade route either.
Remember, they're without Tony Hartley, who was suspended. Nero is off to the short side. He comes in motion now, and that puts 3 wideouts on the right side. They pressure that side. Akili's going to throw to Nero, short of the end zone. Hit at the 1-yard line by Damon Wheeler, the other corner, who made a great tackle on the play.
And it's man-to-man coverage for the Buffaloes. Here's Wheeler, and here is Nero. And it's a quick sprint out. And a great job by Wheeler, fighting through traffic and making the tackle short of the end zone.
So trailing 34-14, Oregon does not hesitate in going for it here on 4th down. Latimer is the tailback. Akili, strong runner. Fakes, rolls right. Intercepted in the end zone. Picked off by John Sanders. Takes the knee. It'll come out as John Sanders prevents a touchdown with a 4th down interception in the end zone. So turnovers continue to haunt Oregon. 3 lost fumbles, and now an interception in the end zone.
It's after the play-action pass. There's going to be a huge lane for Smith to run through. Freeze it right here. Look at this lane. If he just steps up, he's going to score easily. But now it closes, and he does the next best thing, tries to make a play. You got nothing to lose. It's 4th down. Go ahead and throw it in the end zone, see what happens.
He's such a good runner that I'm really surprised that he didn't see that opening and go for it, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a year ago he would have. But I think sometimes when you're you're trying to develop into a pocket passer, you're thinking pass first now instead of run.
Sherrington still in at tailback. Remember, Barnes was shaken up for Colorado on 1st down. Buffaloes lead it 34-14. Big plays, the difference as far as Colorado is concerned, and turnovers have been disastrous for the Ducks here in the first half. There's the young man who snapped down the interception to go along with 3 fumbles recovered by Colorado. So Kristoff's defense doing a job. 2nd down and 11. Toss play. And Sherrington battling, made the most of that, didn't he? About the 24-yard line. Van de Veer, the defender there for the Ducks. We come down to about 1:44 right now.
And finally, Oregon uses a timeout. They have 2 remaining.
There's Barnes. Let's check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Brent, one of the problems when you play an early Holiday Bowl game is it affects recruiting. For both sides, that's been a problem. But for Rick Neuheisel, he had a secret weapon. He was able to make all of his recruiting visits, in fact, make some of them, maybe 2 or 3 in one day. The way he was able to do that? Well, a Colorado alumni who races in the IRL, his family owns a jet that they use to go to IRL races. His name is Brad Calkins. His son, Buzz Calkins, races in the IRL. So what did the Calkins family do? They went to Rick and said, you need to go recruiting. Here, use our jet.
That and a lot of cell phones will allow you to recruit from the island of Oahu during the holiday season, we might point out, Jack. yesterday at practice, a lot of coaches were dialing up numbers, and I suspect they're saying, hey, young man, you can be with us right now in the beautiful weather of Honolulu.
Not bad. And wherever you are on the mainland.
Right.
It is absolutely beautiful here, but what's new?
It's great to experience the Aloha spirit as we have over here. The weather, you can see 81 degrees in Honolulu, and back in Boulder yesterday was 28 degrees, and up in Eugene 35 degrees. And you've had really a touch of bad weather where you are.
Well, Central Oregon and the Bend Sisters Redmond area, sub-zero temperatures caused a lot of pipes to burst.
I hope your house is going to be all right. I know you suffered some damage. You got some good folks there around that house taking care of it for you today. And Machete will run out of it now, and Machete dives across the 30-yard line for a first down. Jack, what's the situation with Barnes, the senior running back who was injured?
Well, as we told you, at first they thought maybe it was just an ankle, and they were going to retape it on the outside, but now they're taking the tape off the ankle. It seems that he has injured his foot severely enough that he's not going to play the rest of the day.
And you know, that is such a shame for the young man. He felt he was completely healthy. He's a communications major. Delightful young man to talk to. He has a lot of talent, but he just can't stay healthy.
No, he missed 6 games this year and still gained over 500 yards. Senior, what a terrible way to finish your great college career, too.
Fastest man on the Colorado team. So Barton now joins Charrington in that backfield, and Neuheisel staff with the lead. Trying to just bring the clock on down. Barton carrying the ball. So the Chief Aloha Bowl, and this the first of 2. Come on out, folks. We got a doubleheader for you today. We got Washington Air Force in the second one.
And plenty of good seats still available. Vandiver with the tackle.
Spoken like a true baseball aficionado, I might add. How many announcements have we heard with that? Bob Elson, the old voice of the Chicago White Sox. I can still remember that ringing through the Chicago air. Well, here's second down. And he breaks free again. Charrington in a foot race. And Charrington down at the 6-yard line. Rashad Bowman saves another touchdown. One big play after another here this afternoon.
And because Colorado has 3 timeouts, they can afford to use one here, give their guys a little breather. Watch the blitzing by Oregon. Both linebackers get caught up in there, Chevron and Vandiver, and then Wilcox slips on this turf. Outstanding job by Bowman coming out of nowhere to keep the Buffaloes off the board momentarily.
So Bowman able to get to it, and he's the quickest man on this Oregon team. A 4.5 40-yard dash. You can see Saul Patu. He benches 400 pounds. And how about Damon Griffin's vertical jump? They're going to need that vertical leap of Damon in the second half here. And to get some touchdowns, I would think, after that 59-yard run by Charrington.
And Bowman might want to have had a clock on that last 40-yard dash of it, because that was no 4.5. That's football speed right there.
So big plays and big turnovers have certainly defined this game so far. We turn it over 4 times, throw an interception, going in for a touchdown, 3 lost fumbles. Colorado able to respond, especially in the second quarter, with one big play after another. That time, it was Dwayne Charrington. So if they come up with first and goal, sending Stiggers in motion to the wide side of the field. Machete, the good, nimble-footed runner, but not much doing that time. The Oregon defense. Vandiver. Final 16 seconds. We mentioned the turnovers plaguing Oregon. Herman Ho Ching put it down a couple of times from scrimmage. They also lost a kickoff return. It was Cooper coughing it up. And then on 4th down and goal, Sanders intercepting Akili Smith's pass in the end zone. And Colorado, 4 turnovers and a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Now 16 seconds left here in the first half.
John Sanders, not John Saunders, making all the big plays here in the first half. He forced that fumble and then made that interception return.
I guess John Saunders will make the big plays at halftime for us, right? He's coming up with Todd. Seconds. Machete trying to buy time, and he'll throw this one too high for anybody to catch it. Incomplete. Javon Green was the receiver in that part of the end zone, and the clock comes down to the final 10 seconds.
And they'll have one more shot at the end zone before settling for a field goal, and that would be an upset field goal here after that great run. Good decision, though, by Machete. Not forcing the ball. You don't want to throw an interception here, especially to the wide side of the field. The defensive back could return that one all the way.
Now, that graphic has not been completed yet, because whatever they get off of this could also be added to it. So now from the 6-yard line, there's the pass, snap, incomplete. Robert Toller with Tamani Joyner, the defender there for the Ducks, knocking it away in the end zone. And Aldridge with a pair of field goals will trot out to attempt to make it 3 for 3.
This is really a fine play by Joyner, but the ball is thrown too low. Toller is a 6-footer, and that ball came in real low, never gave Toller a chance to use his leaping ability.
48-yarder and a 41-yarder, and now a 23-yarder from the angle, and Aldridge is 3 of 3. So tack up 3 more points off turnovers for Colorado. 37-14 as we go down to Jackaroo, Jack.
And konnichiwa, Brent. I've learned that because Bill Mark Levitz, he is the Japanese commentator for Big Ten football, and you're covering this game today.
As well, in Japan, right.
All right, I want to give you a couple of word associations. Japanese, Merry Christmas.
Christmas omedetou.
Japanese, Oregon Ducks.
Nihon no Oregon Ducks.
Colorado Buffaloes.
Colorado Buffaloes.
Shut up, Brent.
Brett, shizuka ni shite kudasai.
Back to you.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
You have said it.
Not that way. Jack, tell him to write that one down. You know what I liked about it? It was a lot longer than just shut up. It was like long. A lot of mileage out of that one. Merry Christmas, partner.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
There you go. There's the update that you asked for, Brent, off the turnover. 16 points now. And remember, Oregon only has 14 on offense. Can't give it away.
37-14. Aldridge with the ball on the tee, and Fletcher set to return another one. Well, it began with the opening kickoff. Ben Kelly going 93 yards for Colorado. And there's the onside kick to bring down the final few seconds here. Recovered by Colorado at midfield. So coming up next, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge here on